They say time heals all wounds, but for Angela Davis, 10 years was just a countdown to a nightmare. She thought she had escaped her past, but her daughter's disappearance proved one thing. You can change your name, your city, and your husband, but you can never outrun the truth. Welcome to Haze Crimes. Today, we unravel the story of a woman who tried to fix her heart by breaking everyone else's, and the tragedy that was waiting for her at the finish line. If you're fascinated by the mysteries hidden in the shadows of everyday life, make sure to like and subscribe. Now, let's dive into Angela's unraveling world. It was a quiet afternoon in a sleepy suburban neighborhood when Angela Davis, a woman who once had everything, made the choice that would alter her life and the life of her family forever. The day she left her husband, Jeff, and their 2 children behind to start a new life was a day that would haunt them all for years to come. She had grown tired of the monotonous routine, the sacrifices, and the feeling of being invisible in the life they had built together. Jeff had tried to understand, but deep down, he knew there was more to Angela's departure than just a midlife crisis. For 10 years, Angela lived a different life. She moved to another state, far from the life she had known. She found success in the city, rebuilt herself, and eventually remarried, but it was never enough. The demons from her past, the lies she had left behind, never quite left her, and the guilt she carried for walking away from Jeff and the children she once loved seemed to gnaw at her with every passing year. But she couldn't run forever. Before everything fell apart, Angela had been the picture of domestic bliss. She and Jeff had met in their 20s, their bond instant and strong. He was a quiet, dependable man, a mechanic who could fix anything from cars to hearts. Angela was his everything, and for years she felt the same way. Together, they raised 2 children, built a home, and shared a life that seemed perfect to the outside world. Yet, despite all they had, Angela felt suffocated. She loved Jeff, but she longed for something more. She craved freedom, adventure, and something that wasn't just family and routine. As their children grew older and their marriage grew stagnant, Angela's restlessness deepened. Jeff had tried everything, dates, therapy, long talks, but nothing seemed to work. Angela wanted a life she could call her own, one that didn't come with the weight of expectations or responsibilities. One fateful evening, Angela stood in front of Jeff, the man she had promised to love forever. She told him she needed space, that she was suffocating in their life. Jeff, devastated, begged her not to go, promised to change, but Angela was resolute. She packed her bags that night and left, leaving Jeff to pick up the shattered pieces of their once perfect life. For a while, the silence between them was deafening. Jeff tried to move on, but every corner of their home reminded him of her. He poured himself into work, into fixing broken cars, and into taking care of their kids. He never remarried, never opened his heart to another woman. He couldn't. Angela had taken everything with her. Angela, however, found the freedom she so desperately sought. She reinvented herself in a way she never thought possible. She moved to Chicago, started a new job, and began dating again. She met Greg, a charming businessman who swept her off her feet. He was everything Jeff wasn't: ambitious, polished, and full of promises of a bright future. Together, they built a life of luxury, full of extravagant dinners, weekends away, and vacations to places Angela had only dreamed of. But no matter how perfect her new life seemed, there was always something missing. Angela never told Greg the whole truth. She never confessed why she had left her family. She told herself that she was a new woman, that her past with Jeff was over and done with, that the years she had spent running away from her own mistakes had been necessary for her survival. But deep down, she knew it wasn't true. She was running, not just from Jeff, but from herself. 10 years after leaving Jeff, Angela received an unexpected call. It was from Jeff, but not just Jeff. It was a voicemail, one she'd been dreading for years. Angela, Jeff's voice cracked through the message. I don't know where you are or who you become, but I just need to tell you that the kids, our kids, need you. They're struggling. They're asking questions. I'm trying, but I can't do it all alone. You need to come back. Angela stood frozen, her heart pounding. For a moment, she considered calling him back, telling him everything was fine, that she had moved on, but the truth weighed heavy on her. She had abandoned her family. Her children were growing up without her, and she couldn't ignore the reality any longer. But she didn't call him back. Instead, Angela blocked the voicemail, buried her guilt in a glass of wine, and pushed forward with her life. Yet, in the pit of her stomach, something gnawed at her. Something told her that her choices, her running, would come back to haunt her in ways she never expected. Months later, the haunting truth came rushing back. Angela's life took an unexpected turn when she found out that her new husband, Greg, had a secret of his own. Greg was involved in shady business dealings, and his lies were slowly coming to light. Angela realized that she had married someone who was as much a liar as the man she had left behind. One evening, after an explosive argument with Greg, Angela stormed out of their apartment and found herself walking down the streets of Chicago, lost in her thoughts. She thought about her life, about Jeff and the kid she had abandoned. She knew she had to make things right. But as she walked aimlessly, her phone buzzed in her pocket. It was a message from her daughter, Emma, who had grown up without her. The message read, "Mom, I don't know who you are anymore. You left us. You left Dad. I'm done pretending everything is okay." Angela stopped in her tracks, reading the message again. The weight of her choices hit her like a ton of bricks. For all the years she had spent running, she had never once considered how deeply her departure had scarred her children. They were no longer kids. They were adults now, living their own lives, but Angela had missed so much. And now, her own daughter hated her. Just as Angela began to process the gravity of the situation, another message pinged. This one was from Jeff, and it was clear that something had gone terribly wrong. "Angela, I need to talk to you. It's urgent. I don't know how to explain this, but I need you to come back. It's about Emma." Angela's heart stopped. Emma? What was happening? She hadn't seen her daughter in years, and now something was wrong. Before she could think twice, Angela grabbed a cab and rushed to Jeff's house. When Angela arrived, she was confronted with a sight that would change her forever. Jeff was standing at the door, his face pale, his eyes wide with shock. "Angela, Emma's gone," he whispered, his voice trembling. She's disappeared. No one knows where she is." Angela felt the world tilt beneath her feet. Her daughter, the girl she abandoned, was now missing. She had no idea where to start, but deep inside, Angela knew the truth. The life she had built, the new beginning she had hoped for, had been a facade. Her past had finally caught up with her. The search for Emma began, but as the days passed, Angela's guilt deepened. It wasn't just about Emma's disappearance. It was about everything she had run from, the life she had destroyed, and the people she had left behind. As Angela and Jeff searched for Emma, a shocking revelation came to light. Angela's old life wasn't the only thing she had left behind. Someone from her past was back, and they weren't interested in letting her walk away again. The search for Emma had consumed Angela and Jeff for days. Every corner of the city had been turned upside down. They called friends, neighbors, anyone who might have seen her. But it was the one phone call they hadn't expected that changed everything. It was from a number Angela didn't recognize. She answered with shaking hands. "Hello, Angela Davis?" The voice was calm but carried a tone of authority. "Yes, who is this?" "This is Detective Hall, Chicago PD. I need you to meet me at the station immediately." Angela's stomach dropped. "Is it about Emma?" The line went silent for a moment. Then, "We found something, but it's not what you think." At the police station, Angela's heart raced as she sat across from Detective Hall. The room felt cold, sterile, as if it were made to erase any sense of warmth. She couldn't focus on the man in front of her, her thoughts on Emma and the unanswered questions burning in her chest. "Detective, please, just tell me, what happened to my daughter?" He sighed. "We've reviewed the footage from the past week. Emma wasn't just missing. She was seen leaving a cafe late last night with a man." Angela's pulse quickened. "A man? But she didn't tell me about anyone." "It wasn't just anyone. It was Greg." Angela froze, the name cutting through her like a blade. Greg, her second husband. "What do you mean it was Greg?" Her voice trembled. The detective pulled up a photo showing Emma and Greg exiting a cafe. They appeared to be talking, but something about the scene made Angela's blood run cold. Greg was smiling, too smug, too calm. "That's impossible," Angela whispered. Greg wouldn't. "You're telling me that you didn't know about this?" Hall pressed. Angela felt her world shift, tilting on its axis. She had spent 10 years running from her past, only to find out that Greg, the man who she had trusted more than anyone, had been hiding something monumental. "No, Angela, it's not just a casual meeting," the detective interrupted, sliding another folder toward her. "There's something else. We found messages. Greg has been in contact with Emma for months. The messages are disturbing." Angela's eyes widened as she scanned the text on the screen in front of her. There was no mistaking it. Greg had been feeding Emma lies. The worst part? Emma was planning to confront Angela. She was going to tell you everything, Angela. But she never got the chance, the detective said, his voice lowering. Angela's hands trembled as she read the final message. "I'm not sure I can go through with this. I'm scared of what Mom will think when she finds out. What if she's been lying to me my whole life?" The room seemed to close in on her as the truth hit like a freight train. Greg hadn't just been hiding things from Angela. He had been manipulating Emma, feeding her doubts, sowing seeds of mistrust between mother and daughter. "Detective, where is she now?" "We don't know, but we found something else, something you need to hear." The detective paused, then slid a final file toward Angela. Inside was a handwritten letter, folded carefully. Angela's heart stopped when she saw the handwriting. It was Emma's. The letter read, "Mom, I found out the truth. You won't believe it, but I have to say it. You left me and Dad behind, but there's more. I've seen the way Greg looks at me. He said we could be together now that you're gone. Please, stop this before it's too late. Greg is dangerous." Angela's mind spun. She couldn't believe what she was reading. Emma had been running from Greg, not just looking for answers, but escaping him. The detective leaned in. "We need your help, Angela. We think Greg might be connected to something bigger. You need to confront him." Angela stood, her legs unsteady. "No, I won't let him hurt anyone else." As she stepped out of the police station, Angela's phone buzzed again. It was a message from Greg. "I know you've seen the video. We're not done yet. Meet me at the old warehouse on 5th tonight." She didn't think. She grabbed her keys and ran. What is Greg hiding? And what will Angela uncover when she finally confronts him? Angela's hands gripped the steering wheel so tightly her knuckles turned white. Her heart was pounding in her chest as she sped down the dark, empty streets, racing toward the old warehouse on 5th. The message from Greg still echoed in her mind. "We're not done yet. Meet me at the old warehouse on 5th tonight." The fear, the anger, the confusion, it all crashed over her like a wave. What did Greg mean by "we're not done"? What had he been hiding for all these years? She couldn't let him hurt anyone else. She had to put an end to it, whatever it took. When Angela arrived at the warehouse, the massive steel doors loomed ahead, uninviting and dark. She parked her car, the engine ticking as it cooled. The air felt heavy, oppressive, and she could barely breathe. Every step she took toward the entrance echoed in the silence of the night. But when she reached the door, it creaked open as if someone had been waiting for her. Inside, the dim light flickered from a single bulb hanging above. The place was empty, save for shadows, but she could hear faint footsteps echoing from the back. Her pulse raced. "Greg?" she thought, but no answer came, only the sound of her own breath, shallow and fast. "Angela." A voice finally broke the silence. It was Greg, but something was off. His voice was cold, detached. She turned to see him step out of the shadows, a smirk playing on his lips. He was standing next to something, or someone. Angela's eyes widened. There, lying on the cold concrete, was a body. "No!" she whispered, taking a step back. Greg's smile widened. "You should have listened, Angela. You really should have." Her heart dropped to her stomach. It wasn't just Emma, was it? Was it? She couldn't bring herself to get any closer. The figure on the ground wasn't moving. "Don't worry," She's alive, Greg said, his tone mocking, like he was playing a sick game, but just barely. Angela felt her blood run cold. What do you mean? What did you do to her? Her voice cracked. Greg laughed, his eyes glinting in the dim light. I knew you'd come for her, but I didn't expect it to be this easy. The truth is, Angela, I've been using Emma. All this time, I was using both of you. Angela's knees buckled, and she caught herself on the wall. What are you talking about? Greg, what did you do? He stepped closer, his voice dropping to a whisper. You really think I loved you, Angela? That I married you because I cared? No, I married you because of your money, your connections. And when I found out about Emma, well, I saw an opportunity. I could have everything. Her eyes widened with realization. You were never after me, were you? You were using us both this entire time. Greg's face hardened. Exactly. And now, I'm going to finish what I started. In that moment, everything clicked. Greg hadn't just been manipulating Emma. He'd been controlling both of them for years. He knew the truth Angela didn't want to face. Her own daughter had been unknowingly caught in a twisted web of lies and deceit. But Angela wasn't going down without a fight. Suddenly, she heard a sound behind her. Footsteps. She spun around. Standing in the doorway was Emma. Emma, Angela shouted, rushing toward her, but Emma didn't move. Her eyes were wide with fear, but there was something in them that Angela couldn't read. Mom, Emma's voice trembled. He's right. I knew about him, about everything, but I didn't know how deep it went. Angela froze. What? You see, he's been manipulating me too, Emma continued, her voice barely above a whisper. He told me you didn't want me anymore, that you'd abandoned us both. He wanted me to turn against you, to make you the villain, but... She swallowed, her eyes filling with tears. I didn't know what to believe anymore. Greg stepped forward, his voice dripping with malice. It's too late for apologies, Emma. You're part of the game now. You helped me destroy everything, and you'll help me finish it. Angela's heart raced. She couldn't lose Emma now, not again. She reached for her daughter, but before she could speak, the sound of police sirens blared through the warehouse. Flashing red and blue lights filled the windows, casting a sinister glow. Greg's face twisted in fury. No, this wasn't supposed to happen. Angela grabbed Emma's arm and pulled her close. Run, she shouted. But Greg lunged forward, and just as he did, two officers burst through the door, guns drawn. Freeze! Chicago PD, one officer shouted. Greg, caught off guard, was tackled to the ground. No, you don't understand, he screamed, struggling against the officers. The room was chaos. Angela held Emma tightly, not believing what was happening. Greg had been arrested, but the damage was already done. Everything Angela thought she knew had been a lie. As Greg was dragged away in handcuffs, Emma turned to Angela. Mom, I'm so sorry. I never meant to hurt you. Angela's eyes filled with tears. It's not your fault, Emma. It never was. But deep down, Angela knew that while Greg would pay for his crimes, the scars he left on her family would never fade. And as the police took Emma's statement, Angela realized that the real price of betrayal wasn't just the lies. It was the broken trust, the lost years. What's next for Angela and Emma? Will they be able to rebuild their lives after everything that's happened? Or has Greg's manipulation left too much damage for them to heal? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear all of it. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more shocking true crime stories.